Hey guys, welcome back to the Insite channel. Today we have BiBiAhn in the Crosshair. The rifling queen from Australia is now a analyst and is also set to play the ESL Impact Season 5 Finals in Dallas as America's favorites. But before we get onto any of the stuff in Melbourne or the team stuff, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you, and thank you for having me here. I've been itching to talk about a couple of things for a while, so this is great. Yeah.
Awesome. And so I know one of the things you want to talk about is your time on analyst desk. So just kind of starting from the beginning, like
hmm
how did this all occur? Because it's not super common to see players on a desk, but we have been seeing it like a little bit more with Bubsky and stuff like that. So how
Yeah.
for you was it? Like how did that occur?
Um, I it started back in during I think last year's Valencia. I talked to like one of the people that does the hires for like the dream hacks and stuff at like an after party, and she listened. So that's I honestly didn't expect it to be like Melbourne, but I
Mm.
felt like it was just so perfect because I mean, just having a full Aussie desk is like just insane as well, and or having it all local as well is like really nice. Yeah,
So was it your idea then? So you didn't get approached, it was like you saying you want to do it?
yeah. I basically just said, look, if you if there is an opportunity, I'd be interested for sure. Yeah.
So why were you interested in doing something like this?
Mm, I think it's something like definitely out of my comfort zone, but I also think I could pull it off. It's like something I'd want to do like in the future as well. If like my playing career is over, it's like something that I can see myself doing. So yeah, that's just pretty much how I think about it. And it's just a good different environment to just talk about CS and yeah, just being out of my comfort zone. Yeah.
So when you say like out of your comfort zone, did
Mhm.
that want you to do it more to get you out of your comfort zone?
Yeah, pretty much. Because like um, I want to be able to do more things like just without shutting it down immediately, just because I'm scared. So this was like it wasn't too scary, but I know I could do it. So
That's pretty fucking strong to be honest. Like a lot of people wouldn't be able to say that they like had something that they were scared of doing and were like actively trying to do it. So you said like doing wanting to do more things without shutting them down. Is there anything kind of like in the world of Counter-Strike that you're more open to doing because you've, pushed yourself that little bit further out of your comfort zone?
mm, I haven't really thought about anything else other than like analysts. I've thought of like interviewing as well and just floating around the crowd and shit, but um casting is something I definitely not wouldn't do. That's way too. I can't yap that much, but yeah, pretty much it's just like analyst and just like interviewer. That's pretty much it. I think I could also like go into the coach role, but that's like way down the line when
Yeah.
I'm 30 and old and retiring. So
Mm.
but yeah, no.
S- Yeah, so is the focus still like, yeah, if you maybe get contact to do analyst work, you'd say yes, but the focus is entirely game. It is like playing, is it now?
Yeah, the focus is definitely just like playing right now, and I know I've still got like years to go on that, and I could reach so much higher in my playing career. So the analyst thing is like I could do like once a year or something. It's like just little side quests during the year, but the focus is definitely just playing right now.
Just like, going back to Melbourne, just casually
Mm.
like being on the analyst desk, like for fun side quests. But so going into it, you did actually, I think you publicly said you were like Ted and Maniac were two people that helped you with
Mm.
like kind of
Yes.
preparation. Were there any other people that were assistants, and how would they have helped you, and what were the things that you needed like advice
Mhm.
potentially for?
So yeah, those were the two I contacted online. to help me just prepare before the event, but the most help was during the event, and it was just from everyone, like on the desk and in the green room as well, just like the casters or giving the advice, the input. Like I'd have like a concern about something, for example, uh like I'm trying to think. It's been a while.
You can take your time. There's no worries.
Yeah. Mm, I don't know, just like dealing like how to, if you don't have anything to say, for example, like I think they made it easier. Like they just said, just talk about anything you want. Like you don't have to think about too hard about CS. Like talking about something about CS. Like you literally can talk about anything you want, and like people will just like listen to you, or like they're watching the game or something, or like doing something else. Right? So I don't have to worry about that too much. But yeah, and also things like I had trouble a lot with like vetoes, because like the veto segment in a uh
Fucking hard, aren't
on
they?
the desk. Yeah, I think because as a player, like I'm coming into like matches just, okay, this is the map I'm gonna play. I don't really care about like what
Mm.
the other team is playing, or like what they prefer, or what they permaban and shit like that. And so that was a big struggle for me, because like, man, I don't know any I don't really know like how to talk about the vetoes here. Um and so what happened was I just said to Fluke, the desk host, I just said to him, so just pass it on to Lucy when it comes to the vetoes. And I told Lucy as well, bro, I need help here. So yeah, whenever it came to the vetoes, like during the live, I I I got skipped. I skipped myself. I was like, yeah, I can't. This is hard right now.
Yeah, like I've always said, like as a analyst or a commentator, like we don't have any right in saying anything about vetoes because we have no idea what's going on inside the team's head. We have no idea what the
Mm.
practice is being like, and it's like we
Yeah,
could say something about vetoes and it's just totally off.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah. So
Uh,
you were kind of saying there about like struggling to talk, so, or like struggling to keep stuff like
mm,
going, and like like you
okay,
pass
yeah,
it to Lucy. Do you think you had a thing of like when you were speaking, you felt like you had to say something like always good?
yeah, yeah. That's. I thought I always had to say something. And there was a moment where Luke like tossed me a question, and I don't know what was going on in my head that time, but I just like looked at him blankly, and I was like, what did you say to me? And I'm like, I think I pretty much said, wait, what did you say? And then I just pointed to Lucy, because I was like, holy shit, it's like ruining the flow, so. But yeah, um
It's fair enough. Yeah. What was it like being in front of a crowd? Because there was a crowd from day
mm,
one, right? But it would have got a lot bigger over the weekend. So what was it like?
yeah.
You've been in front of crowds, but then
Mhm.
when you're there, like in Australia, the crowd's a lot different. And I think in the way they act, and you're also like not a
Yeah.
player. So how was it like being in front of that Australian crowd?
It felt great. Like, I think the first time I walked out, they started chanting my name, and I was like, "Holy shit!" Like, what? I was getting emotional. I was like, "I cannot get emotional. I'm getting on for the first time." Um, but yeah, it was like, uh, I think overall the crowd didn't really affect me too much in terms of being on the desk. It was just they just a good like um they're a good like I wouldn't say, I don't know, asset, I guess, to like just throw to
Yeah.
the crowd like whenever you need something to talk about. Like Luke did that a couple times. But yeah, no, the crowd there is crazy, dude. I'm hearing like I've been to sick crowds. I was at like the Rio Major, and that crowd is fucking loud. But this crowd is like they're saying so many like chants, new chants and stuff I've never heard about before. And it was just so like it was just so fun, like to be in that environment, and just being around like people who are just there like for shits and giggles as well, just like having a good time, drinking, and just watching some good CS. That's it.
Yeah, there's like a big difference between loud and then substance. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
there's like, if you listen to any of the clips, you're just like, wait, I heard someone say something. Not like oh, that was really loud. It's like there was something funny said.
Yeah,
Speaking of the crowd and how they bit crazy, you guys got a bit crazy on the desk. You did a shoey
yeah,
at one stage.
yeah.
Talk me through how the fuck did that come about?
I think a lot of the things that come up on the desk, like funny segments, it's very all like spontaneous. So I
Mm.
think I think it was Luke or someone said, "Okay, can we do a shoe on the desk?" And then we asked our like production manager or production lead, and he was like, "Yeah," and he's Aussie too, so he was like,
Go
"Oh,
on.
I'm cool with it," and like there was another time where like on the first day I was like really fucking short compared to like everyone else.
I
I
remember
wasn't
that, yeah.
yeah, I wasn't on a box that time, but uh at the end of the day we turned to the production lead and we were like, yeah, so can we get a box that makes BiBiAhn like taller than everyone else? And he was like, yeah. He didn't ask any other questions about it. He was like super chill guy. So that's pretty much how like any of the ideas come up. But for the shoey specifically, like, yeah, I think Luke brought it up, and um, I think I honestly wanted to do it with a beer. I asked her I wanted to do it with a beer, but like I can't drink on the job, so
Yeah.
we had to do it with a monster instead, and that was like quite disgusting. But like we just do it for the show.
It like, and again, it adds like, it's something where like no one's asking you to do it, but then when you did it, everyone's like, oh, that was savage. Like that was a funny thing to do.
Yeah,
And
even
you would
Lucy did it.
talk,
I didn't expect it.
what, why not from Lucy?
I don't know. It was just so I don't know. It's just I've never seen her like she's never even said like she never even cursed on like broadcast before until now. And so it's like a shoey is like
That's a big
something.
step up, yeah.
Yeah, like yeah, I don't know. That
Yeah,
was quite
I
funny.
had one 9 a.m. moment where I called someone a bad word completely by accident and just sat there
Yeah.
like, oh, for fuck's sake. um,
Yeah, I think I did it on the first day. I just said the F word and I was like, oh.
yeah, like there's so many times when I'm casting where I really just want to go, holy fuck, or something like that,
Yeah.
where it's because like
Yeah,
it
yeah.
deserves it, but then you
Yeah.
can't say it.
Yeah.
Apart from
I
Pro
think
League.
apart from Pro League, but also I think we had the excuse of it being an Australian event. We could just say whatever the fuck we want, like,
Mhm.
and like it's just the Australian way. I don't know. You can't really get away without having a few cuss words. Yeah,
It's the culture.
it's the
Um,
culture for sure.
yeah, and like the crowd as well. Like you hear them. The crowd were very loud and
Oh yeah.
not always saying
Oh, they were
family
not
friendly
saying.
things.
Yeah, no, they were not. Yeah.
Were there any times
Uh.
that you were like like you heard something and you were like, "Hey, don't laugh, don't laugh, don't laugh."
Oh. I remember one chant where like there was something like fuck you're so shit you're saving again, and they just kept going on, and like whenever someone saved in the game they would do that, and I thought that was new for me and that was funny.
Yeah, that's
um
pretty good.
yeah.
Yeah, so you kind of were like we mentioned Lucy and you mentioned
Mm.
people being really helpful. Was there anything with the fact that like you did it with Lucy, like you've met her like a good couple times and also like you have that connection of ESL Impact.
Hmm.
Was it nice to have someone like Lucy actively on the desk and like at the event with you?
Yeah, for sure. Like it's I think just being able to talk to her comfortably is like is just super helpful because we I think when you meet like a new person and you don't really know how to like talk to them, it gets a bit weird, especially when you're trying to ask for advice like straight off the bat and like trying to work
Mhm.
on the desk together. But with Lucy, it felt very comfortable. Like it was just like me and a friend having a conversation about what we're gonna do. That's pretty much it. And yeah, no, like you know, it felt comfortable for me to share my ideas with her, what I want to talk about, and what she wants to talk about, and how I can also like just piggyback off her. And so yeah, like, and that paid off really well on the desk. When I remember like one desk segment that just went like flawlessly, or one or two. Yeah, it was, yeah, and it was between me and Lucy. So I think that like I think the synergy was just like there from the start. You know.
That's really good to hear. And just kind of overall, kind of just giving you the floor to talk about your thoughts about the event. Like, are you
Mm.
happy with what you did and what you achieved? Was there like, did you think you improved more as the weekend went on? And are there any things that, like, maybe just being honest, you're like, okay, I probably could do it, could have done better at that. So just kind of like a overall, like, vague, what are your
Mhm.
thoughts now? We're like a week, 2 weeks after the event.
I think I was pretty satisfied with how it all went. Like I think it was even more. It was done more like beyond my expectations coming into it. Like I knew I was gonna make mistakes. Like that's just a given. But the easy thing with this with the analyst role is that you can easily fix your mistakes on the fly. It's not like playing CS where like you have a problem like holding a site or something and you have to go through 5 demos to see how people do this and that. But with this, like um you can pretty much fix it in like 1 or 2 minutes. For example, like I would just go back to like the veto thing, like, oh, I don't know, I'm really having trouble with the vetoes, for example, then my solution is just to pass it on to someone else, like, or like there was another problem I had where the cameras like change scenes between like the whole desk and like
Yeah.
the analysts. And there was a moment where like Luke would be asking the question, Fluke, and then I'd start talking, but I keep looking at him even though the camera has changed to just the analysts. So on stream, it just looks like I'm talking to no one, like off camera, when I should be turning uh to like Komodo. And yeah, and he pointed it out, like not even after the desk was done, but like in a small like 30-second break we had. He said, look at the cameras, like look at cameras on, like if it's green, like that's on us, you know, like the third camera's on us, then you should look at me while you're talking. But he also gave like a super, like, there's a reason why I was like naturally looking off to Fluke, is because like he's asking me the question, right? And when someone asks you a
Mm.
question, you want to look at them while you answer,
Of
not look
course,
the other
yeah.
way. So yeah, that was something that was like new to me, as I've never thought about before, especially now when I look back on like other desks. I'm like looking at how like the body language is, and like how they're like uh transitioning between each other. So yeah, no, it's like things like that it's like super interesting for me, because like I obviously want to be doing better at this in the future. Yeah.
So is there a thing where you're looking at broadcast now and you're
Hmm.
like, ah, so like, okay, yeah, and it's like almost open like another eye of where you're like,
Yeah.
okay, I actually understand why this happens now because
Yeah.
I've done it. Yeah.
Yeah. I was literally looking at like the major in Copenhagen, that one back, and that desk, because that desk had like 4 people on it at the same time, and I'm like,
The
man,
finals, right? Yeah.
yeah, the finals.
Mm.
And I think it was before or after the show match. There was like a 40-minute,
It's after the
like,
show match, yeah.
yeah, after the show match, and I was like, holy shit, how can they even talk for this long? I don't know. And like just transitioning between each other, it's crazy to like, how do you know? But yeah,
Luck.
luck.
But
Yeah,
they've done like those guys would have
yeah,
worked like 1,000 desks together, which does
yeah,
help.
yeah. It does help a lot. Yeah, for sure.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember when that like 40-minute desk segment started in Copenhagen. We were all like, "Wait, are they starting like the game now?" And we were like, oh no, they're just gonna speak for an hour. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, that's insane to me because like I don't, man, they're already up there and they just have to like. I was panicking when I was up and just having. I'd have my iPad right, and I have like 3 or 4 points that I'd have prepared or whatever. And when I go through all those points, and we still have to like fill in time, um, like because if there's like a tech issue or something like, and the game's not it's not starting just yet, I'd be like, oh shit, what do I talk about now?
And
Yeah.
like that's kind of completely fair because like you actually ever had broadcast experience outside of this before?
No, I don't know. I don't think so.
Yes. So like you haven't been in those positions where you've had to do stuff
You
like
have
that
to like,
before?
yeah, doing stuff on the fly and think about things to do.
Hmm.
And I think with this event in particular, it was kind of hard for me to like know the teams that well because I've always been in like Impact and I'm not really in the Australian scene at all now. So I don't know like teams like KZG, like they're all new names. Um, but that's where like Komodo came because they're in the scene for a while and they basically just told me, oh, these guys like fresh 5 new guys popped up on the scene, you know. I was like, oh, okay. And then
Pretty cool.
yeah, I guess the only things I could really talk about was like things that pertain to my experience, especially just being in a crowd. I think there was like 3 teams there: Rooster, KZG, uh, and Sunday School. I think there was all the Aussie teams. I think because it was being first time on stage, like playing a stage match, I could talk about things that pertain to that, like lights, crowd, you know, setting up configs and stuff. Like it's always a pain. Um, but yeah, just little things like that.
Yeah, and it's like something where realistically none of us can comment on that because we haven't been in those
Mm.
positions. Majority of the analysts, obviously there is like the maniacs, the
Yeah, where they
anchors
know.
and stuff like that,
Yeah.
where like they have done that stuff, but again, not all of us can comment on those specifics because look, we haven't done it before. But yeah, I think it was really awesome seeing you on the desk, and like I really hope to see um more of it, more of you on the desk in the future. And actually, no, sorry, there was one more thing actually I have to mind. This is a bit of a random one that I was kind of thinking of. It was like, so you are almost representing ESL Impact when you're on that desk in a sense. Do you
Mm.
think you being on a desk like that, where like it's purely international, like it's you and Lucy who are
Mm.
ESL Impact, do you think you two being a part of a broadcast like that actually inadvertently helps ESL Impact because it's helping it's putting ESL Impact more in the vision of other people?
Yeah, so I think when people know you've primarily worked in the ESO impact space, then I think it just turns a bit ahead. It's like, oh, okay, there's actually great people coming out of this, and people who are passionate and like know what they're doing and stuff like that. So I think it does help ESO impact, um, but it's like such a small part of it that helps the scene. I think
Yeah.
I think there are some things that ESL could do to help impact more, of course, but uh, I mean, baby steps, right? It's just as long as like it's just as long as they don't completely pull out, and then what we've worked on for like the past like 2-3 years with ESL Impact, it just stops. You know,
Yeah, that would be really shit.
that
So
was yeah, that's the fear, and it
yeah.
would be a shame because like I can tell you the level of female CS, like skill wise and everything, like tactics, whatever, as a team, like just the team dynamics and everything. Like I think pre 2019, it looks so much worse than it is now. Like if you if you brought a team from 29, like if you brought the best team from 2019 and then played like I don't know teams like Navi now, like they would get absolutely rolled. That's what I think. So I think over time it's been slow, the process and the progress as well. For sure, it's been slow, but it's getting there, at least, and it's just the nature of competition as well. Just with ESL Impact, everyone wants to be at the LAN. Like, you saw how like competitive it is in like in EU. Like, all the games like close, and some teams are making upsets and shit. Like, and even for South America, with it only having one spot, like two teams, like I think it was Furia and Fluxo, like they're both super good. They both deserve to be at a LAN, but it's like that's where the competition comes in, and you want to do better than one another. I know I diverted a bit, but yeah, like,
Oh no, work away.
yeah.
Yeah, like you can tell you're passionate about something like this, and something that I was going to ask later on, but I feel like it's fitting to bring it in now. For me, in general, NA has felt a little bit more competitive. You've got like, I think I casted both of the games you played against Shimmer last season and this season,
Yeah.
and the difference is like, not talking like down on you guys, but maybe for them, they like, they took a map off you this year. Like, in general, they like, I think they took a map of you in a Cash Cup as well. Like, they've looked a lot better, and then the whole scene as a general, like, we've had a lot more players returning from Valorant, Emmy as an example.
Yeah.
For you, what's kind of like, would you agree NA stronger than it might have been a season or two ago? And like, what's your general thoughts about NA Impact?
For NA Impact, I think there's a lot of other things that tie into like Valorant players coming back. Like, the Valorant scene isn't looking too great, so you're seeing a lot of players come back. Not only Emmy, but like Rain and Emily and stuff like in Team Karma too. So that's also a factor. But also in terms of like the competitive, I mean, yeah, like the scores like show it for itself, right? Like, these teams are slowly being able to like compete with like the top NA team, not even like just FlyQuest now, but like in the past, like CLG Red. I don't really know if because I wasn't in the team before, but like CLG Red back then, I wasn't sure if they like dominate like super hard. Like,
Actually, kind of before my time, I came in and around season 3. Season
okay.
3
Yeah.
was when I like started actively following.
Yeah.
So I can't really comment about like like before you came in.
Yeah. Well, I think with the small like timeline that we have now, I think it's easy. I think it's obvious to say that like like these teams are that you can just see that they're trying to catch up a bit more, and the scores show it. And there's still like teams are still trying to make the right roster changes and stuff. There's still a lot of like movement in the scene. Mad's going to Shimmer, and like there's like some rosters falling apart and joining other teams, and like everyone's still trying to make things work at least, and not just completely bombing out. But also there's also the coaches coming in as well from like advanced. Like, we see like Florence on Shimmer, and I think Ducky is another like advanced player, ECL player, that is coaching for Limitless now, I think. I'm not sure about that, but he's coaching one of the other Impact teams. But yeah, it's just like you see it in EU as well. It's like NATO with Nip. Like, everyone's trying hard to get like these pieces to work, and get the experience that they need to just make the competition a lot more like competitive.
Yeah. I think, speaking about coaches, it never got announced. I don't know why, but this season previously Guild, they had Crush, like the old Ukrainian, like he played majors in like 2017. So again, another pretty cool like individual to like have as a coach. And yeah, you mentioned roster changes there in NA. Ooh, in EU, there's a lot happening. Ooh, there's a lot of stuff happening.
I remember. I don't know. Someone posted a tweet, and it was like a snapshot or like a picture of just.
Oh, it was Lucy's. Was it
Lucy,
the roster
right?
changes? Oh my god, that was
and I'm like,
lifesaver.
wait, what? That person's on this team now? Like,
yeah,
there's so much. I want to look at it again, but yeah, there's just so many changes.
Yeah. we do our shit mid-season over here as well. You know, we really keep
Mm,
it alive. But it was something that I kind of mentioned Shimmer, and I think it's interesting in the like last two seasons, you guys were the best kind of like undoubtedly. Like there
mhm,
wasn't really the competition
yeah.
regionally. What is it like, I guess, on the first hand mentally to be like, okay, we're maybe not the very, very best anymore. Like we have
Mm.
some competition, but also, do you like the fact that you have competition regionally?
Well, yeah, for sure. Like it pushes us to do better, of course.
Yeah.
Like, it gives us a bit of a wake up call in that sense, and you know, if we want to be dominating these teams like we should, and we know we like historically can, um, then we just need to be putting in 2 times more the work, and that's about it. Like we just need to be not even like in prac and not even like in prac and scrims, but also just in the like pressure testing moment in the officials in the matches that we need to win. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Mhm. Yeah, so I want to bring this conversation back to season four now. So the
Mm,
finals in Valencia, um,
mhm.
actually where I met all of you guys for the first time, which was really
Yeah,
cool. But unfortunately, you guys didn't have a great weekend.
yeah.
Even though it was like 0-2, you know, you still played what like you took Floxo to overtime, which was pretty impressive. But what you just said there about the fact that it pushes you that someone like Shimmer is getting a bit better. Do you think, as we get into the conversation about season four finals, do you think the fact that they weren't pushing you as much last season ties in with why you guys didn't do too well when you went internationally?
Uh, no, not so much. I don't
Yeah.
think. Uh, we're playing them online, and the thing with LAN is like we're not getting the experience for LANs, so it doesn't really matter if they pressure test us or not in that regard because they're playing us online. So we on for season 4 Valencia, like we just struggled a lot with just getting online, like it just in on LAN, and you know, I think at that point there was already like underlying issues uh, with that roster that we had. So yeah, I feel like the LAN also is testing us on our like the team aspects of things. It was definitely not like well knit at that time at all. So yeah, I don't know. And it was strange is like we had a boot camp before that LAN as well, and we were doing really well in terms of like results and like on the scrims we had, we were banging out like 4 or 5 scrims and like doing pretty well. Like, and I don't know, we just got to the land and we weren't able to show the same performance as we showed in prac. So I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult sometimes when you get into
Hmm.
that environment. And something that well, I did an interview with Munster that weekend, and he was really open with me about how he spoke that he was focused like loads
Mm,
on the analytical side of things because that's like, you know, what he does.
yeah.
And then he says, and like you've also mentioned before that he's nuts at preparing for games.
Hmm.
But he did say like, look, I struggle with sometimes the like personal side of things
Yeah.
and dealing with emotions when on LAN.
Yeah.
Just kind of, you know, like as we've gone on from that LAN, do you think he's improved in that element? And do you think that's going to be something that's changed from his perspective to you guys going into Dallas?
Yeah. So I think at the time he was only by himself at that time, like coaching and slash analyst role. He's doing the analyst role like pretty well. But yeah, from season 4, like it's really hard to know what you're doing when it comes to, you know, people, just the people
Mm.
uh aspect. And not only that, it's also dealing with 5 women that are like super stressed and holy fuck, we're like doing so bad on LAN. Like, you know, I think for him it's like such a new environment because you come from like a professional team, guys who know what they're doing, and obviously they have their quirks as well, but like I think just the fact of dealing with women and men are just different. So that's definitely, I can see something that struggles with him. But now, because we have we have an analyst or like slash coach, like they share the same, like they share responsibility sometimes, or like flip flop. So I don't think it's announced yet, but like Sheikh Zula, he's been on the roster for quite a while now.
That's
So
quite a big name.
yeah, so he's helping us a lot with the like just getting some responsibility off. And so obviously he's working like graveyard night shift in the EU, right?
Yeah.
And so like at some point when it reaches like 7 a.m. for him, you know, he's got to hop off and
that
go to
is
bed.
insane, by the way.
That's where Sheikh Zula comes. I mean, Flashy was doing that shift as well, which was it's just not good. Like, you're not getting any like sunlight or anything. You're not doing anything with your family, or it's so shit. I could not imagine doing that myself. But yeah, so Sheikh's coming in now, and he's been working with us. I think he provides that. He helps a lot with the people aspect, just dealing with like emotions and stuff, especially when it comes to lands. I think both of them work very well together. We've seen it. Oh well, I've seen it at. We went to Philadelphia, and just seeing those two work together is super nice because they don't care really. Like, they always see the positives in things, and like they acknowledge like whenever something goes wrong, like, okay, that's in the past now. You know, they know how to get us in the right like mindset going into the next game. And Sheikh's just a really like easy guy to work with. He's super funny as well, and yeah.
That's a big name to have. Like, you said the name, I was like, wait, as in, I know that name. I was like, that must help a lot. And
yeah,
you've actually mentioned before that you've been open about your like, I'm an emotional player. There was a performance coach at CLG, which you said has helped you a lot, or did, I guess. Is this something that, you know, not focusing on the team, but focusing on you as an individual? Is this something where like Sheikh Zula's coming in, he's good with the people? Is he helping you a lot, like with kind of those emotions?
Yeah, I think I'm like pretty comfortable to just go up to him and be like, hey, this is like how I'm feeling. Like, or he'd come up to me and just be like, just a little quick check in. And then he knows I'm a player that, like, I just need to get my head into the game and just be prepared. So he'll come to me instantly and be like, this is the game plan. This is what you need to do. And yeah, I work well with a lot of what he says. So I forgot the question, but
it was more that like you said you struggle to deal with the emotions sometimes on LAN. Is that, I guess, still a problem at some stages? And like, is he now helping you specifically a lot with something like that?
Nowadays, like I'm not that emotional. So during this year, like I've kind of to shut out a lot of my emotions, especially when it comes to just like being in the moment and on LAN when I'm there. Like, I don't want to let my emotions like overcome me. It doesn't help anyone at all. So and I think just it was funny to look back upon is I always went to these events in an Australian team, right? And we'd get fucking clogged. And at the start I was very stressed, emotional, overwhelmed, like anxiety, like the whole fucking shebang. Like, but now I'm like, I've lost so much. I've kind of just I'm like numb to like just losing, right? I'm always like
Okay, yeah.
looking forward to like, okay, we've got some material now and we know what we need to work on, and like we just go next, like yeah. Nowadays, like at lands, I'm that person where I'm just like numb to everything. And I'm like, let's just fucking work on what we need to work on, and put it into play next land.
Yeah. And does
But
something like, oh, sorry, what were you gonna say?
sorry, but yeah, I think just by having that approach, I think at some point when you do work on everything that you need to, and like at some point it's gonna pay off, right? Like you're doing everything you can, and the emotions aren't there. Like I feel like it's a small recipe for success.
Yeah. And like, I don't know if I'm drawing things together correctly here, but you mentioned getting out of your comfort zone with the analyst job.
Mm.
Does that help with kind of dealing with emotions playing then? Or is this not really a
Well,
connection?
no, I don't think it's really connection. I think
Okay,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
the playing and the analyst thing is like very separate for me. It's like yeah.
Yeah, that's completely fair enough. I was like, I was pulling on strings there.
Yeah, yeah.
Didn't know if I was gonna hit with that. But okay, so you mentioned while at Valencia there were some of those, you could see the issues you said from your perspective.
Mm-hmm.
After Valencia, you guys made roster changes. You replaced Kelsey
Mm-hmm.
and Mads with Emmy and Vanessa. Firstly, why were those changes brought in, and what were kind of maybe some of those issues that you mentioned were obvious in Valencia?
Um, Mainly it was just like environment, and there was just a lot of friction and uh, just moments where uh, like the roster changes needed to happen because it was like I don't want to be too harsh, but like they were definitely like blocking us at some point in our development. So we just needed those changes to be able to just move forward again in a pretty linear way and without the emotions coming in.
Yeah. I actually was watching, I think, the FlyQuest Red vlog potentially, and
Mm.
there's a point where I think it was when you guys were down a map versus HSG, and like you said to Mads, you were like, chill the fuck out, like I can't,
Oh yeah, that
concentrate
was like
when you're
the
like
first
that.
land, I think.
Oh,
Yeah,
was it? Oh, was it
I
that long
think.
ago?
Yeah, I think that was like one of the first lands or second lands that we went to. That was a while ago. Yeah,
Oh,
but
don't know where I pulled that memory from then.
yeah.
I was just kind of saying, was it like, did that, is that a part of the holding back of like, you couldn't get in that
No.
space and she was
No,
maybe like
no, no, no.
worrying?
That was like kind of different. That was like
Yeah,
just
okay.
something happening at LAN. I think I'm talking about more like just in our like practice, right? And
Yeah.
just scrims and stuff.
Okay. So
That was like yeah, just
a
in the
very
moment
random,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So specifically then, what do people like Emmy and Vanessa bring to the table that allow you for this progression?
Well, they just bring one like I can speak for like Vanessa. She, for example, she is always looking for solutions. She's always um she's always in the game or watching the game or like watching with like other people. Like she'll always like Steam message you and be like, hey BB, I think we could do this, I think we could do that. Like yesterday we were struggling with like I don't know, holding off this, and I think what we could do is and I think it's very nice because like she's not a super experienced player, so when you see like underexperienced players just trying
Hmm.
to make the effort to like fix things with you, like it's just super nice to work with. And like I can always give my input and she'll be like, oh yeah, okay, like just yeah. um and for Emmy, it was like, for Emmy we brought her in for not only like she's a sharpshooter, but her main like positive is just her being her. Like she's so positive, like she's kind of a crackhead, and is if you had that spectrum of like mellow player to batshit insane. Like Emmy's up there compared to Kelsey. Like Kelsey's on one end, Emmy's like the complete opposite end.
Okay. So
So
you needed that difference,
yeah,
did you?
we needed that difference, I think. And just I think now, like the roster now, like everyone's like everyone is comfortable with talking to each other. It feels like a team, right? It feels like um people can share, like, I don't know what they're doing in the day to each other. It's like it just feels like everyone is friends, at least. Yeah.
That sounds like kind of ideal, to be honest.
Yeah.
But so even outside of those two individual changes,
Hmm.
you also made changes within the team. So you changed IGL from Gooseberry to Kayode,
Hmm.
but I think, yeah, you confirmed my thought that I had, that it wasn't like a full swap. So why was that, change brought, and like what's going on? Because like, so is she not like fully IGL?
So she IGLs most maps apart from Mirage. Goose just IGLs Mirage.
Okay.
That's also a
Is Goose
question.
just really good at Mirage?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, and I think
Fair.
in the past it's always been like Kato is like perma ban,
Hmm.
and like she doesn't play in EU that much. So when we pulled Mirage into our pool, Colleen was just in like the process of learning the map and stuff. So
Sure, yeah.
yeah, that's why we just kept it that way for a while, for a long time, I guess. And yeah, so Goose, alleviating her from her IGL roles, she struggles a lot with like ADD and stuff. So when she was put on the spot to like whenever there's like a pressure situation, and then lots of people would be talking at the same time, she'd have trouble uh just not dealing, but like taking into account of everyone's ideas and trying to figure it out like on the fly, like in the what millisecond to pick up a plan or whatever, right? So she get super overwhelmed, I guess, sometimes, and the IGL role is not. It's like a big role. It's a big shoes to fill, and um, I think at some point she just got like drained.
That's fair enough. What was it
Mm.
like Kaode taking over though? Like, how was that transition?
Um, the transition was, I think, it was pretty fast. She's IGL'd before
Yeah, in EU, right?
in EU.
Yeah.
I think in terms of calling what she wants, she's very direct. She knows what she wants to do. I think obviously the one of the like little stumbling points is just she has a very hard accent, like harsh accent. So like sometimes things will get missed. And uh there would be moments where like seconds would be lost because we're just trying to figure out what she just said. But yeah, like, but
Uh,
now it's that step's been like overcame, and like if anything we just like ask questions back, and um we're way more like used to it now, so yeah, it's easier that way. Yeah, she's very direct and like concise on what she wants, so
yeah. Must be very handy. And I
yeah.
think when I was speaking to Munster, we were talking about like emotions in Valencia as well, and we were saying how like Goose was a leader as well. Even though she's
Mm.
not the captain, is she still the leader of the team, if you get what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I think she's still the leader of the team, like
Hmm.
Colleen IGLs, but Goose is definitely much more like the leader, and just overlooks everyone, takes care of everyone.
Yeah, that's fair
Yeah.
enough. And so speaking about Goose still, I
Hmm.
think she's the highest rated player in North America right now. And like she's always had pretty good stats online. But have you noticed a difference since she's not IGLing? Have you seen that like, okay, she's focusing on just the ability to pop heads now?
Yeah, not only that, but she's also like second calling as well.
Hmm.
So some of the mid round moments, she's in a lot of the spots where she's able to like pivot the team. Um, like say if she's in like a forward lurk spot, right, and she's taking the reins at that point. She's telling the team what to do. She's like, Colleen, I think we could do this. We could do that. Like a lot. So yeah, not only is she fragging, she's also just helping with the calling.
Seems pretty decent. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I guess before we get onto the season 5 finals itself,
Mhm.
I think, to be fair, I think we've kind of answered this already, but you did mention before that the team struggle to stay on the same page. Um, do you think now that is not the case with this new roster?
No, yeah, like sometimes we'd have it, like as a team, like the big picture, it's not so much of a problem. It's when we talk about being on the same page now, I think it just comes to like the little micros, like swinging this together and like what happens if they
Time
volley?
in the
Do we swing?
saddle type
Yeah, yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah. It's like small stuff like that now, but otherwise, like the big picture type, but like where we're ending and stuff, it's not that much of a huge issue now. Like obviously, we still have like um some of our moments when it comes to like maps that we're not too uh like super experienced on. So yeah, it just comes up in those. But otherwise, no, it's not really a
That's pretty
overarching issue. Yeah.
very ideal, to be honest. Okay, so the finals now. You
Mm,
guys will be going out to Dallas in under a month, 20 days, give or take, from when we're recording this
yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Just like you guys made playoffs there last time. Is there like a home
Mm.
turf advantage, or is that like not a thing at all?
I think it is the thing. I think last time we were in Dallas, we at least made it to playoffs
Mm.
with the crowd. So I'm hoping that comes back again. But also, not only it's home turf, but I feel like it's like FlyQuest turf because not only Red is going to be there, but the main team is going to be there as well.
Oh, will they? Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of FlyQuest fans, I guess. So yeah, a lot of support as well. Just the nature of being in the US, we have like friends and family that can come, you know, together. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we're hoping for.
A lot more familiar faces. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's like with FlyQuest, obviously, like you guys share an organization, but you're also sharing them. You're all Australian. Do you ever interact with them like at all?
Yeah, Oh well, I don't talk to them that much, but whenever like there's an event and I'm like there with the guys, like
Yeah,
we talk a bit. And
that's awesome.
yeah, no, there's all Super Chill guys you can see like from on land. Like you see all the clips coming out with their shenanigans. Like they're all great guys.
Correct. Yeah, the game yesterday, I was doing an interview with someone, and we were like, we didn't start the interview until the game had finished because we were both watching it, and we were like, we have to fit like this game is so good against Liquid.
Yeah.
Um, it was a
Yeah,
very
that
fun
game was
game.
so close. Like I was watching that on the couch and I was like, holy
Uh,
fuck, they might actually do it. But then
I thought they had. So
I,
close. But
I was hoping
okay.
they do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Just because we've been here for quite a while, I guess
Mm-hmm.
we can speed through. I don't want to keep it too long, but because these events are quite small, it's
Mm.
interesting to think that like you will probably end up facing the majority of teams, if not all the teams, for instance, because there's only 8 or whatever.
Mm.
So just kind of like going through some of the teams. Fluxo, you guys obviously lost to them last time, but in overtime, and they have been looking really good. They made their roster changes. Um, do you think you have kept up with their progression? Because they've cemented themselves as the best in the region, which was contentious last year. Do you think now you're still like neck and neck with them? Like, because you
Mm.
lost in overtime last time, but it was a fucking close game.
Yeah. Uh, I think it's hard to say because we don't play them like at all, right?
Yeah.
But we're aware that they're like obviously the best in the region right now, and so. But I think last time we lost to ourselves a lot of the time. That's uh like they played well, but we made a lot more mistakes. We made more like shitty decisions and stuff like that. That really nerves and all that, right? So now I think when it comes into like season 5, I think it will still be close. Everyone likes that uh America versus Brazilian storyline. So it's cool to see even the earlier Dallases where you have like Furio and CLG Red. Like, I think it's always been close.
Yeah, I think Fury made the finals the first two times
Furio, yeah,
were
yeah. CLG
against
Red definitely
CLG in the
lost.
semis.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but in the history of CLG Red and FlyQuest, it's always just losing to ourselves and just not putting us in the like best position to like secure rounds and stuff like that. So, yeah.
So do you think, the losing to yourself, has that changed? And is that all the stuff we've been talking about, or is there anything else that has changed the like losing to yourself?
Well, I think with that, like, you just have to work through all the issues,
Hmm.
and there's just a plethora of issues. Like, you fix one
It
thing, another thing
happens.
will pop up.
Yeah.
So I I don't know if there's another way to like do that, to like solve that, but we're just taking it step by step and working through what we know is an issue, and if there's more, then we work on those too.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think I did an interview with someone recently, and he was like, we work on this map, and then a good map becomes shit, and then we have to work on that map, and then the map we worked on becomes bad,
Yeah.
and it's like a constant vicious
Yeah,
cycle
it's
of
like,
like, yeah.
Overpass is your good map. Oh, it's out now.
Just do time to learn that.
Yeah, we were just like, hey, so what role do you play? But yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's never ending. With CS,
Uh,
it's never ending, and if you want to be better than other people, then you just have to work twice as hard, or more than them. So that's just how it is
yeah.
with CS.
Yeah. There's actually you were talking about a rivalry between you and Fluxo and like North America and Brazil. There's actually quite a clear rivalry from like a spectator position. I don't know if it's for you, but like between you and Poppins, because like you guys
Oh.
have similar play style, kind of, right? And like
Mm.
you have been playing really well. She's been playing like silly good recently.
Hmm.
Do you see that as like a rival between you two? Because like you guys do kind of play similar positions, and you're both playing like you're kind of the both like seen as like one of the better players in each other's region.
Uh, I mean, I think never really thought about it, but I think when it does come to the LAN, I think that will be just a funny rivalry to just
Yeah.
bandwagon on, I guess, as a fan and as just a viewer. Um, I think naturally there's always going to be like a head to head, from someone in a team. Like, no matter what team, there's always going to be a head to head, whether it be AWP or like a strong rifler or star player. Like, I could see it definitely, like manifesting. But yeah, I think it's fun. I think they're just fun to like talk about.
Yeah. And so HSG, another team that you
Mhm.
guys unfortunately lost to last time, they're coming back for unfortunately the only time this year. We're not going to see
Yeah,
them in, I
yeah,
guess it would be Sweden, the DreamHack in Sweden in December or
yeah.
something like
Stockholm.
that.
I don't think there will be there. There's going to be
Yeah,
one more
five
EU
EU
team.
teams. Yeah,
Yeah, and
and then one
only one
NA,
NA
two
team.
USA.
Yeah, two SA. Yeah.
Yeah, which is it's rough, but what's it actually like playing them when realistically you have no idea anything about them? Like they come up once every
Yeah.
6 months, and it's like, hey guys, now we're really good. So like, what's that like?
I mean, yeah, preparation for them is like super hard because we don't
Mm,
really have access to, the games are like not even on HLTV at all. So it's hard to prepare for them anti-strat wise, but um I think from what I remember, they were just super solid on their defaults and all the utility, you know, they'd get phase one over and then phase two, like they go into like straight away. And so a lot of the times it feels like they're really trying to work on like their control of the game and their flow. They
yeah,
know what they want. So um playing against that was interesting because not a lot that doesn't really happen in NA. Like there's a lot of like downtime between when stuff happens. Like between the phases of the round, but they go into it pretty flawlessly. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was one thing I remember from playing that match.
The
But
kind
yeah,
of Asian
yeah,
style of CS, like just always taking map control.
yeah, pretty much, and they're everywhere on the map, and you kind of have to. You can't rely on like any anti strat really. You just have to really focus, like be hyper aware of what's in front of you and how you can just adapt on the fly.
Mm.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
that makes sense. And you've been very vocal previously, being like, "Oh, Nigma now Pigeon is like they need to lose. Like, someone needs to take them down." Do you think it's the
Yeah.
tournament? Like, they've got no Orc, they've got a new IGL, they've replaced Vilga, they've been beaten a few times online
Yeah.
as well. Like, they haven't been flawless.
Hmm.
Do you think this is it?
I mean, I say it every season. I think I'm almost giving up, but like they're super strong on land. Like Nabi will beat them online, but when it comes to land, like they'll lose. So you kind of just have to. I mean, I'm praying on their downfall for sure. Like someone needs to win it. But it's just like
Crazy.
competition,
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
But
I know what you mean.
I have no like bad feelings against like any of those players. They're all super good, and there's a reason why they've won like every impact, right? So it's just like a fun thing I like to throw around.
Yeah, it's actually really interesting. But EU in general, we had some like different teams, like big. They haven't
Yeah.
qualified since season one. Let her cook. They beat teams like Vilga's Fearless Cheaters, who were
Nine.
making
Yeah. Yeah.
who were making or Fearless. Yeah, the Fearless Cheaters, because they changed it. It was the Nine Pandas.
Yeah.
They'd made semifinals like 3 years in a row. Guild
Yeah.
looked like they were going to be making the LAN. They haven't. So what's that like for you, seeing some of these names where you're like, oh, that was unexpected. Like, these are teams and players that we haven't really faced before.
It's like 50-50 for me. It's like, oh, well, maybe more 75-25 for me, where 75% of the time I'm like, wow, nice. Like, there's new faces. We're going to see
Mm.
new teams here. We're going to be playing against people new. And it's always nice to see new faces at lands, especially when I think the last couple of lands has been like the same.
Much the same people.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much.
pretty much the same. But that just talks about like the competitiveness in a year, right? So it's always nice to see. And the 25% is like just me like being not disappointed, just sad for some people, because like I know players like D7, for example, on Guild, like she deserves like to be on LAN like 90% of the time, right? And like she's always kind of just isn't able to get over the last hurdle when it comes to qualifying. So
Five
I'm like,
times in a row.
fuck, man.
5
Like,
times in a row.
dude, it's so hard. And I'm like, holy fuck. I feel so bad. But yeah, no, it's just what it is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it's good to see new
And
players. I think I think Astra's on Astra's
yeah,
good? Yeah, she's always
Astra.
been like a big name in EU.
I
But
think she played the first final. There's a few people that have played like the first finals.
yeah.
Like, some of the big players from the
Yeah,
original roster. But like they then haven't played since
yeah.
like, that they haven't made it since 2022, which was the first
Yeah.
year. Yeah.
Yeah. So seeing her back on land again is great, and uh just good experience for a lot of the players in general,
Mm.
because land's a big deal. You need to know how to like deal with like different issues all the time, and it's not the same as just playing at home, right? You're not put in the best comfortable position. Yeah,
Yeah, like the
but it'll be
desk isn't the
interesting. Yeah.
right height, all that shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. That's why like those ESL videos come out about like what's your desk height and like where's your mouse position. Some people can
It's
get like
true.
super get like specific about it, because
Yeah.
otherwise it's the 1%, right? And the 1% can just like lose you the round
Yeah.
or win you one. So
Yeah, like I went to boarding school and like they allowed me to like bring my PC in, and like,
mm,
I'd be on like a wooden chair, like desk is, whatever you get. So I went to my
Yeah.
first LAN being like, holy shit, I'm in my environment. Like this is what I play on every day. And everyone's like, I'm
Yeah.
so uncomfortable. Like, this is a good seat in my terms.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, just I think probably final question. You
Mm.
were talking about like new faces. Australian teams. We haven't seen an Australian team, I don't think, since you, or maybe there was one after you left. But would you like to see, some newer faces from Oceania and Australia like head into ESL Impact Finals?
Oh yeah, I always want to see new faces. Like I know how it is there as a region. It's hard to get into just climbing the ladder because um it's just like the idea of getting salaried and stuff. Like if you're gonna put in like CS is a game where you have to put in so much time to improve at, and you don't have that time. Like just being able to live as well is nice. So like people have jobs and stuff, so it's hard for them to like improve and get ahead of it of another. And I think that region is it's so far away from like everywhere else. Like there's not a lot of experience coming in from the outside, like from other regions. So it's hard for them to like get a grasp on what they need to improve on how they do things. Because like recently, I or it was like last year, I came into one of the scrims of the Australian teams, and I was like, "Holy shit, is this what you guys do all day?" Like, it's not great. So it's just the issue of like not having a leader or someone that is knowledgeable and experienced in how these teams can improve and stuff. So it's really tough there. But yeah, I mean you've seen it from even not even just female CS there, but like main CS, like they players want to like play on a higher level, they have to like go overseas, right? Or
Mhm.
FlyQuest are like boot camping frequently, like in EU. So it's just hard to get any good prac there, and yeah,
Mm.
it's rough.
It is rough, but overall, thank you so much for coming on. It's been an
Yeah,
absolute pleasure talking to you. Like I feel like we've covered everything I wanted to cover in
yeah,
in a lot of depth, and I'm honestly really looking forward to see you at Dallas. Like I'm hoping to see like a redemption story. Like you guys make again playoffs, and with the amount of roster changes, I think in Europe and like the teams that aren't maybe looking as strong as they once were, I think there's
hmm
a real chance for you know sky's the limit type thing. And it's gonna be really
yeah,
interesting this event, like seeing you guys specifically see what this new roster can do. You guys look really dominant online in America as you always do. So hopefully that can now get transferred from online to offline. You get the home turf buff, and I honestly wish you the best. And with that, PB, thank you so much for joining me. And again, thank you anyone that's been watching this far. And make sure if you do enjoy us to stay tuned next week for another interview. We're pumping out a lot of these interviews, and we'll be definitely doing another Impact interview with someone else before the finals. So if you do like something like this, make sure to check out that interview. And for now, thank you very much, guys, and I will see you next time.